This episode brought to you by Old Faded Hats. We've all got them, and our wives cannot make us throw them away.
This is Hot Drop, where we bring you premier PUBG analysis and drops that are air-fried for fewer calories. I'm Dano.
I'm Cody.
And I'm Lemon John.
And let's get into it.
I would like to state for the record that our first two takes were much funnier than that one.
Yeah, but more hostile.
So much more hostile.
Maybe we'll run some bloopers at the end. Oh, God. Since no one called the hotline, we could just run us attacking each other as the hotline at the end.
Just vicious, brought to you by...
Oh, Jesus. All
okay,
right. So,
we're getting into the nitty-gritty here, okay?
Yeah, dive deep, fam. What do we got?
So PS4 is coming, is bringing us PUBG on December 7th, right?
Fact.
Because of that, and our narcissism, we assume that we are going to get more people listening to this show.
Yes.
Right?
I would assume that.
Can I get an amen?
Amen.
So, what we figured we're going to do, instead of doing our housekeeping first, we are going to reintroduce ourselves to ourselves.
Because we're the only ones here when we're talking to
the
technically
speaking, we're not talking to any of you listening. We are talking to each other.
But we are live.
Figuratively, we are speaking to you, the listeners, and not each other.
Correct.
Which is technically.
But currently we have 0 listeners as of this moment, outside of ourselves.
Yes, unless my children are eavesdropping.
Ooh.
But they wouldn't know what I'm saying.
Right.
Because they don't speak English.
Correct.
Yep.
Yes. I think that we're going to just do a really quick recap of who we are and what we do at the show instead of doing our usual housekeeping at the very beginning. Because, one, you guys who are new need to know, and two, we are narcissists, and we're going to stick to that point.
Boom. Point number 1. We are a show about PUBG, and we've been doing it strong for over a year. New episodes come out every Thursday.
We also stream every Thursday and Sunday at twitch.tv/hotdrop_podcast at 8 p.m. Eastern.
We are also a community where you can do more than just find others to play games with. Our Discord is pretty awesome, and we have game rooms for Fallout 76, Red Dead Redemption 2, obviously PUBG. We show our pets. We share our music. We share our food. We talk about anything. Get in there or be square.
But better than Discord, we also have a hotline where you can call in and vent. You can ask us questions. You can say really whatever you want, within reason. It's 508-216-0006, and we play your messages at the end of every show.
And we cover news from all the platforms, PC, Xbox Mobile, and soon PS4. Our two leaders, Dano and Cody, both have Xboxes and can play with the community, so they have some insight there. And we all have PS4s.
We always run regular events with the community, be it Xbox or PC customs, mobile community nights, and challenge of the week, and a monthly top 10 video where we give out actual, tangible prizes.
And of course, we are constantly growing and evolving the show and the Discord, which means we're opening new rooms all the time for different games that people are playing and just making changes based on community feedback.
This whole thing is about the listeners. We love every single one of you except for Ray. Ray, you are banned. So keep coming back for more. We love this community. We love this podcast, and we hope you do too.
Yep, and we will be PUBG for the foreseeable future because there are some big news stories coming out. There's PS4, there's the new map, and a lot more that we're going to dive into in this episode.
On to the housekeeping.
Boom.
Sweep.
Some new updates. So this is the housekeeping stuff. We usually run this segment at the start of every show, but here it is now. We've got the top 10, which is our monthly video contest where you submit one clip, and then we put them all together, and you win a prize if you are chosen as the winner. So we are now opening it to clips from all games, not just PUBG, starting December 1st. So if you want to find those videos, you can just search for Hot Drop Podcast on YouTube, find our channel, and look at all of the old top 10 videos.
Real quick, Tom brought up a good point in the Discord saying he doesn't know all the games that people might post in there. So if you can kind of introduce your clip, give possibly a short little bit of context to give the viewer so that they know what they're looking at, that might be helpful.
Yeah, that's true.
I think it's a good point.
Don't want to confuse people, but you also want to get people interested in the games that you are interested in. So being able to set it up by telling what the game is about or what you're doing will go a long way.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, if you can show the clip to, say, like, your mom, who has never seen that game before, and she can understand it, I feel like that's a really good clip to submit. If she can go, wow, holy crap, that was a thing, that happened, that's a good clip to show.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And Tom said that, like, it would be nice to have it as voice in the beginning if you can at least introduce it with that. But if not, then, like, some text next to the video would be great.
For sure.
So also the looking to play rooms in the Discord should be used for all games now. So we've kind of tightened things up inside the Discord a bit. We want you guys to solicit friendly partners in this game, any game in this room. Rocket League, Battlefield, DayZ, whatever you want to do, get into the looking to play and find somebody to play whatever game you're looking to play.
Yep, we got one room for every platform, so post up in there. We also allow you to tag all members of those groups, and you can adjust your notifications if you're getting too many, but that's just a good way, if you're interested, to constantly get updates from people when they're looking to play, and you can just jump right in when you get that notification. So, challenge of the week. The winner this week was Clay. So the challenge of the week is another room in Discord where one of our members of the community, Point Click Dead, posts a challenge every week starting on Monday. And the prize is a custom Discord emote. So this last week, the challenge was SMG only, but the challenge this week is a lot harder. It's get a pan kill for the win. And you have to have a clip of that so we can see it actually happening. And everyone who gets a pan kill will get a custom Discord emote. They will all win. So wow. We got one so far. We got one pan kill so far, so expect more.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
And then for the top 10, so I just put out the latest top 10 video. We've got a couple more to catch up on when we'll start giving out the prizes. But congrats this week to Matt Von Doom. Awesome choice of the Discord emote. That was the old prize for the old top 10. And he picked the perfect emote, his dog. It's just so great.
It's pretty great.
New video coming soon.
But also, I heard a rumor that he doesn't like Matthew Eugene Von Doom. And I disagree with that completely. So let me know if that's true or not, Maddie, and I'll yell at you if it is.
All right.
I'm a little feisty today.
He's hot.
Yeah, listen to the bloopers at the end.
Hot
for the feist. So now is the part where we go into each individual section.
Daniel, I don't think we need to keep introducing it to the
We have to keep introducing.
But they're going to know. They're going to know.
Just yell Xbox box.
So this is the part
just
where
yell
Cody
it.
yells Xbox box.
Yeah, this is the part where Cody yells Xbox box.
Cody.
The Xbox box!
And then we roll the sound clip.
What's in the box?
Great. And now Dano.
No patches or updates this week, but we do have an event mode. It's already happened on PC. It's we thought it was kind of lame, but people are excited for it.
Lame as hell. I didn't even play this one.
Don't bum the people out who want to play.
All right, John,
wait,
what is it? Can you explain this?
Ghillie Crossing. Simple world spawns are limited to ghillie suits, crossbows, melee weapons, and throwables. It's basically just really hard to kill people, so the action is very dull. It is kind of like a fun thing towards the end of it, but the early and mid game is kind of rough, I would say.
Yeah. Yep, you can play that until December 2nd at 10 p.m. Eastern. So get in there, play it a little bit, and then let us know what you think, because obviously we think very highly of this event mode.
Clearly. But we do have a little more news. We've got the Xbox Community Weekly Post, week number 4. It's there's some stuff in here.
Is there though, Dan?
Yeah.
Is there?
There's some stuff. They talk about frame drops, anti-cheat, and a Thanksgiving login event that already happened that you missed. If you did log in, you would get a weapon skin. However, that's done. But the first topic is frame drops, and they're talking about all of the frame drops that people have reported, especially during close quarters combat, and they're working on some fixes around this. So there are many players, they say, who have reported this issue being resolved after restarting their Xbox, which clears the cache, allowing more memory to be available for the game to use. To hard restart your Xbox, you can hold down the power button for approximately 15 seconds until it turns off and then back on. I guess just shutting it down normally doesn't do this. I don't really know. But for players who are
who really knows how technology works?
I don't know. Yeah, there's just like little gnomes.
Who
in
even
there
knows?
That's
running on
from our
wheels.
tech whiz.
Yeah,
Code
I am
for
a
tech
tech whiz, but electricity and technology are not the same thing, John. Anybody who's a tech whiz would know that.
Okay.
I am on fire.
Okay.
So for players who are still experiencing this, even after turning it off and back on again, you can use the Xbox DVR to record clips of the frame drops and send them to them via the subreddit or their official forum. It's not affecting everyone, so there's a lot of external factors, whether you have an SSD, how much space you have available, if it's been turned on for a long time or not, etc. So they're saying like they're still working on this. They're still narrowing down what the real problem is. But it sounds like it's related to hard restart. So try that. If it doesn't work, just post your clips to them.
The other interesting thing about this is that it prior to the most recent update, this issue wasn't happening to as many players, so they're investigating the cause because it seems linked.
I like how they use the word investigate all the time. We are investigating it. What? Couldn't you just look it up?
No, man.
Gotta
You
investigate.
got to dive deep.
Deep dive.
Deep dive. Veil your papers. Code.
Anti-cheat. The use of hacks or cheats is not tolerated and is against their rules of conduct. So people finding them, any people found using them, will be permanently banned from PUBG. Banned.
I mean, I don't think I've really experienced hacks or cheaters on an Xbox.
I feel like you have experience banning people, though.
Oh, daily.
It's kind of
So they
For
mentioned-
those of you who haven't noticed yet, I have an official ban hammer as an emote in the Discord now, and I loves it.
They're investigating again. Players using cheats that give them additional map information. So that's kind of like an interesting cheat. Like maybe it's like loot spawns where they can see people. I don't know.
Or like we're using TomToms, and those people are using Google Maps.
MapQuest, printed MapQuest directions.
I used to do that all the time.
My wife
yeah.
still says, "Let's just MapQuest it."
Oh, Jesus.
I go, Nick, like, come on,
Is
it's
that
on
like
your
when-
phone.
What
in
year is
the
it?
future? Yeah, that's like in the future when Google isn't a search engine anymore and we have some other method to do stuff and we say, "Oh, just Google it." It's like, what? What are you talking about?
Hacks and cheats are not tolerated. They will be issuing permanent bans for this type of behavior, and will continue to do so going forward. I guess they've found a lot of people reporting hackers, so they're trying to calm your nerves,
Interesting.
chill you out. But yeah, and that's really the extent of the weekly post.
Yeah.
That's it.
And the Xbox box.
Yeah, it's a small box.
So sad.
So sad. And I really just put on the playpen just because I want to hear the intro. Can we roll that?
Yeah.
The playpen.
PlayStation.
The release is still December 7th. Pre-order now to get your Nathan Drake desert outfit, as seen in the Uncharted series, and Ellie's backpack. But don't spend more money on those passes or coins. Just pay the base $30. Don't go nuts. It's a good game, but we don't even know how it's going to perform on the PlayStation yet. So,
But,
give it
well,
some
here's the
chance.
thing. I would like to add something about this. PlayStation does not have a setup for an early release game. So you're already getting more than anybody on the Xbox or the PC got when you were buying this game for $30. We all bought it for $30, and we had one map, and it was early access. Xbox had two maps, and it was early access. You guys will be getting all three maps, all the event modes, custom games, badges, all that jazz, with the promise of the fourth map, Vikendi, coming soon. So you guys are getting a lot more for your money right off the bat than we would. Or than we did. So I would expect a more functioning game because PlayStation does not have an early access setup. So they're not going to accept something that isn't what is considered to be the 1.0 version. We know it has bugs, we know it has issues, but we know it's going to perform at least baseline.
Yeah. PCP?
Take it away, Rosie.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you'll follow me, we are now entering the personal computer place.
The teensiest little tiny small update to patch 23.1, which is currently live. It took 4 hours. Sure did.
Regular maintenance.
Sure did.
Pretty small. Update number 2 came out yesterday, November 27th. There was... I don't even know if this is worth mentioning, honestly. They added the current region status in-game under the HP HUD. They fixed an issue that, quote, "you cannot report yourself" message comes up when you report a player from replay. And they fixed an issue in the custom game that the voice chat doesn't work in the airplane after setting voice channel as all in the voice option.
Woo.
And guess what? They added more skins.
Hey.
Added Ryan the Lion crate.
What is Ryan the Lion?
I will take it, Mr. Ryan and his lion.
I don't know about that.
What
There was a third update.
There was. It's on test.
It's literally just bug fixes.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's all.
Camera to pass through doors when moving this camera. That's good. Issue where horns continue to sound. That's awesome. After exiting a vehicle while holding left mouse button, enemy player would appear prone / stand up multiple times in specific situations after proning and standing up once. It's an issue with the Pan of Judgment skin, preventing players from being able to completely remove the skin from their pan in game.
The Pan of Judgment.
I know. Opening, closing door animations. Green blood was more visible than red blood. Reconnecting while in a vehicle would remove the player from the vehicle, and upon reconnect, the player model would sometimes be clipped inside the vehicle.
Yeah, these are really minor things. But I have seen this one.
They're fixing PUBG.
No, John. No.
Big if true.
Right.
Big if true.
They are.
They fixed it. That's right.
They are adjusting.
They're
pieces.
investigating.
They are investigating. They've already fixed PUBG. They wrapped it up. They wrapped it.
Mhm.
And now they are just adjusting PUBG to their liking. Because there are no problems. There are no problems.
Mm-mm.
Adjustments only.
Got it.
Care packages would sometimes drop outside the playable area. This was reported by Clay. I have seen it happen as well. That's a pretty legit one, I think. But these are so minor. These are so little. But hey, you know what? I'm all for fixes. Even though it's already fixed, just to clarify.
Totally fixed.
Totally fixed. We've got some skin leaks. So it looks like there's going to be a Christmas event.
What?
Don't know how I feel about this. I'm going to be completely honest. We've got a horse mask that's also a Rudolph reindeer head. Christmas sweaters with chickens on them, scarves, gloves with snowflakes.
I don't want this.
I don't want this. I don't want this.
I mean, I'll take the Santa beard because I wanted facial hair, but that is it.
Beanies with reindeer antlers, Christmas tree pants.
Daniel,
Yes?
you know that handy dandy sound clip we got before I have to say something that makes me angry?
Familiar, yeah. Familiar.
Would you mind just like rolling that up real nice for me and hitting play on it?
Say no more, fam.
I'd really like to talk about how dumb as hell that is.
Dumb as hell.
You're so dumb. Really dumb. For real.
Dumb as hell. Can somebody please explain to me, when we haven't had real updates in well over a month, that you are going to throw some garbage ass Fortnite little skins and say, "Merry Christmas, everybody. We could give two shits about you." I don't want the skins. We've talked about it week after week after week. I don't want them. I don't care about them. They don't help the game get better. I want a map. I want no bugs. I want a revamped vaulting system. Please, for the love of God, somebody explain to me why they keep doing things that I consider to be dumb as hell.
Yeah, for a game that prides itself on realism, we're sort of getting away from that, aren't we?
We're getting into a weird spot, and I don't like it.
Yep. It's getting weird.
I don't want your Christmas event stuff.
We got elf shoes. I mean, all of these, to be fair, are not confirmed yet. However, they did make these. This is a file. This is an image. This is a thing that someone made. Whether or not they're added to the game yet, we don't know. But this is what someone was thinking about and what someone made. And it's starting to take me out of my immersion just a little bit.
All right, but let's pop into something more positive now, right?
Let's.
We have these leaked shitty skins. Let's talk about another leak that we have.
This is a good leak, the good kind.
Mm-hmm.
That good. So a couple weeks ago, John and I talked about this a little bit. This is the snow map called Vikendi.
Everybody's working for Vikendi.
And it's another video where we've got some first-person looks at the new map. It's not completed yet. There's mostly just the big structures, no foliage and all that, but it's kind of sweet. It's looking
awesome.
pretty good.
It looks awesome. You know what it kind of reminds me of is like portions of it are like an abandoned Olympic stadium.
Yes. Yeah, I got that vibe too.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I'm getting
like this is like the leftover of the Sochi Olympics.
James Bond vibe, you said, John?
Yeah, James Bond vibes.
Jimmy Bond.
Very cool. Oh yeah. What was the map in GoldenEye that looked like this?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Oh god.
Someone will tell us.
It.
One of our viewers
Yeah.
will call in and tell us.
One of you, without looking it up, tell us. So I'm not going to look it up.
So, John, any thoughts about this map after we're seeing a little bit more?
No, it's looking cool. I think it'll be interesting to see how we adapt to the size after playing Sanhok for so long.
Yeah.
I think that'll be kind of the interesting part about going back to play a map this size.
Well, this one's what, 6 or an 8?
8x8.
And the other ones were 8x8? No,
Wait.
they're bigger than that.
I think they're 8x8.
I think they're also 8x8, yeah. I think the actual playable area of this is closer to 6x6. But this is an 8x8 map.
Huh. You're right then, John. I was going to tell you that you were wrong and that we can't be friends anymore. And then you would have told me that you're only Dan's friend. And then I would have gotten angry.
It's true.
But
I mean,
since
that's
you were
still
right,
true, though.
I won't begin
Angrier.
that conversation. I'm not angry. You're angry.
So Tom took a good long look at this. Tom is one of our moderators and driver of the mobile home. He said...
Beep, beep.
Beep, beep, of course. He said things mostly relating to teamwork. He said he really thought that this is going to introduce a stronger team play mechanic. If you're not working well together now, you're not going to be in a good spot on this map. And I think that's true for all maps, really. But he was looking at this from the point of view of like the big open areas, people who go rogue on Sanhok and jeopardize team unity. He says this map could increase that. He thinks that vehicles might just be some of those things that you use to hide behind as you move across the map, given some of the terrain looks pretty rocky.
I can't imagine
point.
getting in a car and wanting to travel here.
Yeah, it's. I feel that way about Savage Sanhok. There's just too many hills, too much foliage, and you just give yourself away from a really far away distance from the sound of the vehicle. But he looked at all the different elevations, the rooms, the open areas, and the secluded areas. It'll introduce different play styles that'll cater to different people, different players in this game.
Yeah, all the circular, spherical, and otherwise shapes in here, I think, to make it very interesting to fight on.
Yeah. Yep. Looks like there's going to be a lot of big open areas. So he said snipers will be right at home. But overall, this is going to be. But
it's also like a very urban feel on some of these. Like if you're looking at like there's a nuke silo, and next to that is like a watchtower, but around that watchtower is like a circular ramp.
Mm-hmm.
And so like there's gonna be weird firefights, like a Call of Duty map, I think, but also with like the PUBG feel of the open spaces as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
these huge structures.
One thing that jumps out to me is how much these locations look like their own like death map, like that you would find in another game, like Cody referenced GoldenEye and Call of Duty. But yeah, it looks like you could take out some of these structures and just plop them in somewhere, or like use them in a war mode, and they would be pretty insane map locations to just duke it out in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of big focal centerpieces, like these huge towers, the rocket base, the big spheres. It looks like kind of like a observatory kind of thing with satellite dishes.
Yeah.
But
they also, the interiors have like wooden boxes and cover and like platforms to stand on to get an angle on someone. Like it looks built for fights.
Yeah. And we don't have any foliage really, so I don't know what the tree cover is going to look like. It's just open fields with snow. I would hope there's some trees here, because you're going to be seen from a really long way away. But they have already added those boxes and those elements of cover. So I'm not really sure. We'll have to wait and see what the final product ends up looking like. But this is a really interesting look at the snow map, which should be due out if our predictions are correct. This should be due out by the end of the year.
Yeah.
Beta. Yes. Probably not in full form. Yeah.
Probably shortly after the new year we'll have the full form, I would say.
I would hope so. This game
before
really needs
February is
something
my guess. Before February we'll have the full version of this map.
How long was it before, like, we got Sanhok on?
There were 2 or 3 tests, right? Very quickly. Like each week there was one.
I thought it was much longer, where we were playing it on test. Then it got moved to the regular server, and we were like, okay, I mean, we've been playing this for months, but yeah, it's live now.
It was a really long time. I think it was like over a month of testing and in and out of access. Because remember, we had those weekends where it's like it wasn't the test server, it was the experimental server. There was a separate build for it.
Right.
So it kept opening up for short amounts of time.
Right.
And I kind of expected them to do that with this, but it looks like it might be a little bit further along than Savage was at the time. But I'm not sure.
Well, that's true. I guess the first Savage iteration was pretty bare bones and not a lot of textures. But when he's running around in this, like, there are textures loading in,
right,
like jumping around and that kind of thing. There's a lot of visual glitches, and like you mentioned, the foliage not being here, if there is going to be any. So they still have like a decent amount of work on this map. Plus, it's bigger, so it'll take a little bit longer to polish everything.
Yeah, and we also don't know when this footage was taken. So there could be a lot more improvements since this footage, but we never know. But I'll post a link to the video in the show notes, and you guys can see for yourself. If you want to see this in more detail, I would also check out Wacky Jackie's video that we posted a couple shows ago and talked about that in depth. I'll post that link as well, so you can kind of see the progression, because this shows mostly just one area of the map, but there's more shown in a previous video that has come out.
Yeah,
but it's pretty sweet. I'm impressed. I mean, I'm looking at this and thinking, okay, we've got a new breath of life in this game. This will make me come back, and this will make other people come back as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Mobile home.
Beep, beep. On November 28th, which is today, so a day or two ago for you people, ends the Turkey event. So be sure to redeem your puzzle game pieces if you have not so already for the parachute skin, and also any of the inventory ones for the crates, shorts, shirts, and turkey helmet skin.
The Star Tournament starts on November 29th and goes through December 1st. So if you have not seen mobile in action, be sure to check out the broadcast during the event. This means that those teams that were practicing in third person on Miramar and Erangel will no longer show up in force on the plains, as they will be returning to the FPP mode. This should be the last tournament of this nature in third person for mobile.
Interesting.
Just to clarify what the hardcore mode is on mobile, this is actually a question we had last episode, and we didn't know what hardcore meant. This is located in the arcade menu, and in a nutshell, all auto anything is shut off. There are no bots, and you have to manually make adjustments on the fly, just like on PC, Xbox, and soon PlayStation. This is in the arcade area, and it doesn't affect your game rank.
That's awesome, actually.
Yeah.
The auto is like auto loot and that kind of stuff too?
Yep. It auto opens doors, auto pickup, auto attach, all that. Yeah.
Interesting.
That sounds really cool, actually.
It sounds really hard on mobile.
It does, yeah.
Unless you're playing on a tablet, which makes it a lot easier.
Yeah.
That's
Or
all
on
I've
the
ever played on.
emulator.
I've only played it on a tablet.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The mobile community night was another hit, and even Lemon John / Yellow Citrus John showed up in the Discord chat to say hi. Simple and easy. Peace out, gang. ITT Tom. Education for everyone's future.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. They had a big crew in the Discord, and I just happened to I was at home and like just chilling or whatever, and I saw a big crowd in Discord. And I was like, "Hey, I'm coming in to say hi."
And then they all said, "Get out of here!"
They all said, "Come play with us," and I was like, "I don't have it."
Not on the phone.
Yeah.
Don't you have a phone?
All right.
Questions for the show.
Hotline question. Yeah, we got a question from the hotline here. I'll play it. Roll it.
What's I don't know. What's up? Anyways, Dan, I got a question for you. Actually, anybody in the Hot Drop, guys. So, since the game started, all the way back when it was released, from then on to now, what do you think is the best gun that they have added, and why? Have a good day.
John, what do you think is the best gun ever added to PUBG? Ever?
So, I'm a big fan of the QBZ. For whatever reason, I know it's just basically a Scar reskin, but I really like the look and feel of it. I'm also a big fan of the barrel. This is a tough one. I'm going to go QBZ.
Cody, thoughts?
Very interesting. I feel like I can't steal John's answer, but I agree with him. I love the Car 98. I think it's great. And when they added it outside of crate weapons and I learned how to use it, that's when I was like, yeah, that's the gun. I like it better than the M24. I just like it.
I think for me, I don't like the look of it, but I love the Groza. I've been having some really good spray downs with that gun, especially with the silencer on it, extended mag, hollow sight. It was the event modes, the war modes on Miramar that got me really into that weapon. Big fan. I will pick it up every single time.
We almost never go for drops anymore.
Not on Sanhok. No.
That's because we always play that map.
Yeah. Jammy Jam has a question too.
What is it?
Is there ranked matchmaking in PC, mobile, and Xbox? I've heard all kinds of speculation, but no evidence from Bluehole. I suspect just due to matchmaking weights that on Xbox it does not exist.
So I dug right into this one, and I searched for a long time, and I found some conclusions. The first is that in Update 22 on PC, we have introduced the rank system, but nowhere in that patch note does it say that the ranks actually apply to matchmaking. It's just like a cosmetic ranking that you can use to grind and get better yourself. Also, by the way, in patch 22, they announced the skin trade-up system, which still don't have. And also, on that topic, do you remember how they introduced the Riot Shield? They hyped that thing up? Yeah,
yes,
where's that?
I do.
Where's that?
Garbo. Greta Garbo. That's
Garbage
what that
trash.
is. Claudette Colbert.
So here's the patch note from Update 22 for the rank. They say there are 8 total ranks. The ranks will be assigned based on rank points earned. To earn your first rank, you play 10 matches. Rank promotion / demotion will be decided by total rank points. And that was it. There was nothing else. There was no mention of matchmaking. There was no mention of similar players will be placed in your games, similar ranks. Nothing. It was nothing. So I think that this is probably not even a thing on PC. So look, I have heard that there has been matchmaking added, an ELO ranking-based system, or ELO, I'm not really sure how to pronounce that, but I don't know if it's still a thing. I remember back when Xbox came out, there was an FAQ. One of the questions was, is there skill-based matchmaking? And the answer was, the game uses the same matchmaking system as PC, which is based on rating. However, that FAQ has since been deleted, so I don't really know what they use. So then I dug even further and found a wiki, a PUBG wiki. This is pubg.gamepedia.com. And there's some more information here, but again, it's a wiki, so anyone can update this with whatever they want. But the wiki does confirm that there is ELO-based matchmaking system in PUBG. I don't know if that applies to Xbox or not. I assume it would if it is on PC. But there's no definitive answer. So if one of you guys out there listening can find out the truth, whether or not there is a rank-based matchmaking system or skill-based system in place, please let us know. I'm very curious. But all of this leads us to the question, do we even need a skill-based matchmaking system in this game?
If Bluehole had not, or at some point stopped shooting themselves in the foot, and they gained the player base that a CSGO has for a ranking system, yes. At this point, I don't think so.
John, thoughts?
I know that maybe not a lot of our community, I know some of our community members will think it's a good idea. I don't know if it really impacts that much. I don't know how tough it is for new players to like get their first kill. I mean, I was there once, but like it's, I don't know. I don't know if you need to really segregate it so much. So yeah, I'm not sure about, I don't know if it needs it.
Yeah. When I read this and as I was digging around and I was thinking about how the game actually plays out, I was really thinking that they don't need it. I mean, sure, I don't want to play against the Shrouds or the Justins or whoever else, but I just feel like the game is so random that it might not even matter if I have like the top 5 ranked guy right in front of me. If I catch him with his back to me, I'm going to take him out. Like, it's not like a Counter-Strike where it's a set map where there's a very well-established timing of when you should be expecting people or like how to play certain areas. Like, anyone could be anywhere at any time in this game. So I feel like the nature of Battle Royale being so random, like you don't need a ranked matchmaking. But I don't know.
Well said. Well said. No, that's good. Yeah.
Cool.
Next question.
He hates me, St. Louis. Did anyone consider joining the military? If so, what branch were you considering? If you served, thank you for your service. If you decided not to join, what changed your mind?
I 100% considered joining the military and was very close to just kind of doing it when I graduated high school. I'd gotten into a bunch of schools, mostly the ones that had tennis teams that I was trying to make. And then I kind of got rationalized for, I don't know. I was talking to my dad, and essentially like all the schools that I was going to go to were going to cost a lot of money, and I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life, and I wanted a bunch of opportunities. And so I almost joined the Marines, and then I almost joined the Air Force, because then the Marines were fairly intimidating for a lazy 19-year-old guy who didn't know what he wanted to do with his life. And then the Air Force, I wasn't smart enough. I was just kind of a lazy guy back then. And so I decided to go to community college. But to be honest with you, it was always kind of a thing. Like, I could have joined the military. A little bit of me wishes that I had at one point, but had I done that then, I wouldn't have met my wife and had my kids now. So like, it works out, you know?
Yeah, for me, I never considered it. It was never something that I felt like I could do because I don't react well to like people yelling at me. Like boot camp was just not going to be something I could get through, I don't think. Like I think in high school I was probably physically fit enough, but not mentally prepared for anything like that. So I just felt it wasn't for me. So I ended up going to college and got my job. And again, like you, if I had gone on a different path, I would not have found my now wife and have the life I have now. So yeah, not for me.
For me, I'm kind of weirdly close to where Cody was, except I was considering it when I was in community college because I didn't really know what I wanted to do with my education. So after high school, I basically, in the middle of my senior year of high school, I was like, yeah, I should probably go to college, and applied late to one school and got waitlisted. And I was like, I'll go to community college. So it was a lot of like quick decision making there that didn't really play out in my favor. Well, I mean, given my life currently, it did. But so yeah, I always considered the military, and I was torn between, like Cody, the Marines and the Air Force. I really felt like the military structure would have given me a good, solid, like that would have been really good for me.
Yeah, exactly that. The foundation of that and the structure of the life that military servicemen and women have would have been very good for 19-year-old me.
Yeah. And I felt that totally. I love flying. I love planes. I love traveling, that kind of stuff. So I wanted to fly. But I also like just respected the other military branches, especially the Marines. Like I knew some guys who were joining up in the Marines. I wasn't really friends with them, but I felt like I could maybe start, and I would be behind for sure, but as a 22-year-old or something like that, but I could probably dedicate myself and get up there. So it was definitely like lost me trying to figure out what I was going to do with my life. Definitely had that as a plan, that if anything ever went wrong in my life, or like I couldn't find a job or anything like that, military was honestly going to be my first choice after that.
Yeah. I respect the hell out of anybody who joined the military and,
absolutely,
and went through all that training and all that. It's, I have a lot of friends who are veterans, and I can't even. It's not even the patriotism part of it. It's about changing your life and finding a regiment and having to stick to that, and that shaping yourself and your values and your future and all that stuff. Like that takes so much dedication and so much self-awareness to be able to do that I couldn't imagine doing that myself now.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm also super lazy, so like that's another thing for me. He Hate Me St. Louis, who asked this question, says he served 6 years in the Army Infantry, multiple combat deployments in Iraq and Afghanistan, and that's like something that I couldn't even fathom myself doing. So that's incredible. Like, so thank you for your service.
Yeah, thanks.
It's just not something I could do. I just couldn't do it. But I respect the hell out of you.
We have a few members, former or current, in our Discord. I know
we do. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Super
awesome.
Cool.
That was a great question. That's one of probably the best questions of the week we've had, because you don't get to people don't ask that question very often.
Yeah, no, they don't.
Whether or not you ever consider joining, or like why you didn't. So that was a really good question.
Yeah.
Nice.
Ocean wants to know if we had a moment to spare, would we join for a match or two on mobile? I was actually going to when you guys had your mobile night, but I ended up watching Christmas movies with my kids, so sorry. Next time I'm in, I promise. The next time I will play a match or two. The next time you guys have a community night, as long as I'm available, which realistically I would be.
Yeah, once you guys set up the next one, I would love to jump in for at least a couple. I mean, I don't have a ton of time. I usually only have like 2 nights to play a week, but if it lines up, I will definitely jump in.
I actually have never downloaded or played PUBG on mobile. It was kind of like, I talked about this before, but I think on stream I just never did it, and it became
the principle.
It's a dumb line in the sand. I almost downloaded it for community night after they were having so much fun, but I chickened out. So yeah, I think it would be fun to hop on for a mobile game for the next community mobile night. We should at least have some HOTDROP and Chief there for sure.
And another question from Ocean: How do you know if someone is legitimately hacking or using an emulator or anything else that gives them an advantage over a true mobile player? I was driving a Jeep at full speed and a player was running alongside of me shooting. Also, is it possible to kill someone through walls/concrete? I assume it's hacking, but when I go to report these actions, I get no feedback. So I'm just curious if indeed reporting helps or not.
We get notifications when our reports are found to be justified. So I don't know if you guys do on mobile, but the next time we'll log in, it'll be like, "We got Lemon John." It's it's like when we got Bin Laden. We got him.
Mission accomplished. George Bush with a thumbs up in front of the sign. That's how I feel every single time we get a positive report.
For the emulator part of the question, I know Tom has been myth busting with that mobile separates them into a different queue than the just standard mobile players.
Yeah, he said there is a icon somewhere on their name to indicate that they are in fact using an emulator, but I think that might only happen when you're in a lobby with them. That's my guess, because I feel like regular player names don't even show in the game, so you wouldn't know.
So his point is, like, you can only get queued up with emulator people if you join a team with emulator people. You will know if they're emulating because they have the icon. If they don't have the icon, they're not emulating. Therefore, you won't be in the queue. Therefore, you won't get killed by emulator people.
Such a smart guy. Education for everyone's future.
But if a bunch of mobile players queue up with an emulator person, will they be placed with other emulator people?
All in the emulator queue.
Okay. There you go. Okay. That makes sense. But as far as the getting shot through walls, there's no penetration in this game. That's impossible. Unless you're talking about if you rounded a corner and died as soon as you got around the corner, there could be some desync happening there potentially, but there are no bullet penetration whatsoever in this game.
Driving a Jeep at full speed and a player running alongside and shooting is impossible in the game mechanics. That person was hacking, probably speed or rage hacking, which is excellent. That's an excellent person.
Report.
Yeah. The other question is, how do you know? It takes time. You kind of have to get used to the game and understand the game mechanics. There's a lot of people who, when they first start, every action that is way better than their own seems to be a hack, right? Like if you're not very experienced in a game and you get sniped from like a mile away or whatever, you're like, what the heck? That guy was hacking. But then as you get more experience with the game, you kind of can see the differences. For like wall hacking stuff, as an example, you can see when players like snap onto like where somebody's head would be or something like that. You can kind of watch them tracking a player through the wall, and it's obvious that it's not just with sound or something like that. So there are little hints that you can look for. I don't know how good the mobile replay system or the report system is, but it takes experience to kind of discern between a hacker or a good player.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I remember in a lot of Counter-Strike games, we would just like yell, "Oh, he's cheating, report him." But like we weren't good enough to realize that, yeah, people can actually be that good. Like it's possible that they could hit that shot. It's not likely, but it's possible. So it's always hard for me to report people sometimes because I can see how things are possible, but I want to give them the benefit of the doubt every time. But the reality is it's like 0.1% of people can actually pull off the kill that they got on me. So that's when I report.
Yeah, there in Counter-Strike there is they had a really solid system with Overwatch though. Not the game. There's an Overwatch system in Counter-Strike to discern if a player was cheating. So I never felt bad for reporting people, especially as the game got these huge player bases and like became rampant with hacking and like smurfing. That was really frustrating to play against.
What is smurfing?
Smurfing.
I feel
Whatever it is, I love it.
That's a great word, and I feel like you have to explain that one.
Okay, so smurfing happens a lot in ranked games when a player is really good, plays up, gets ranked up on their other account, and then buys a new account or subscribes with a new account or whatever, plays with friends who might not be as good, for whatever reason, they're playing in low ranked games, but are actually like top tier players.
So intentionally playing with a low rank, even though their skill level is really high.
Yeah, and usually they don't use their original account because they want to keep that one ranked up high, but they still want to, beat up the little guys just trying to learn the game.
It's dirty.
It's dirty.
I've done it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not the best person in the world, so I'll be real. But I don't do it much. Like a lot of people who do it constantly are people that don't want to win. So they'll do really, really well in the match, but then intentionally lose at the last minute. So they lose the rank. So they keep being ranked down. And so they can keep their Smurf account being with the one with the really low rank. So they're really annoying. People can't stand them.
For shame, Daniel.
For shame. I'm bad. I know. I was a younger person. I've grown into myself. I've realized the error of my ways. I don't do it anymore.
It's a really frustrating thing, especially I think a lot of people were probably paying to rank up because CSGO was such a popular thing. And when you rank up, you get skins. So I think a lot of people were probably buying the services of people with top tier skills, having a low ranked account to basically power level them up. Or, it was friends playing with other people. It was like, oh, I'm a god at this game. Do you want to play? Sure. That kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But there was a lot of it going on when we used to play. It was really frustrating to play against as someone who just like wanted to get better at the game. And you have to fight people who are better at the game to get better. But when they're just like a huge gap in between, it's like there's nothing I can do here. I need 1,000 more hours in this game.
Mm-hmm. Well, there was actually also a legitimate reason to have a separate account, because if you tried to play a rank game with someone who was a really low rank and you were a really high rank, the game wouldn't let you. Like it would say, you are too far apart in ranks, we cannot matchmake you.
That's true.
So like there was a legitimate reason as a really good player, if you wanted to play with your friends who are new to the game and wanted to play a matchmaking game with them, you would have to buy a second account. Like there was no other option.
Yeah. No,
this is HOTDROP, where we bring you premier CSGO analysis and bore Cody to death. I'm Cody.
And I'm globally offended.
But no, it's actually an interesting problem. Like the social aspect of it. Yeah. But it's frustrating in a ranked matchmaking system. I think they needed a better casual mode. Like, so it's not competitive.
Yeah.
But still the same rule set as anyway, we can move on. Poor Cody.
Poor Cody. Killer 2EZ. We are playing all new games. Of course, we're still playing PUBG. But how do you guys avoid spoilers of endings of new games? For example, Point Click Dead has finished Red Dead Redemption 2, but is waiting for everyone to finish the game before he spoils anything. I had to unfollow the subreddit for the game. So do you have any suggestions or any thoughts? Do you not access the internet? Do you avoid YouTube? What do you do?
I don't search those things.
Yeah, I just don't look. I just don't look. I just don't go on YouTube. I don't go on Reddit. I don't go on the subreddit. If I really want something to be not spoiled, you just don't go there.
And video games are so much easier to not spoil than TV shows are.
Yeah.
Because, so if you're on Instagram just searching through whatever the shit that they try to make you look at when you're not really looking, I've spoiled an episode of The Walking Dead or two just by doing that. They don't do that with video games because you won't understand the context necessarily.
Right.
So I don't run into spoilers for video games very often.
Mm-hmm. Still to this day, I have not finished Fallout 4, and I don't know the ending. I don't know what happens to Sean, the kid. I don't know anything. And that's a game that was out, 3, 4, 5 years ago? How many years ago? And I do that just by avoiding the threads on the subreddit that talk about the Fallout 4 story. Eventually, I'm going to go back to it, but I still don't know what happens.
I made it 29 years of my life without knowing how Blade Runner ended until I watched it finally this year.
Interestingly, that was changed a number of times in that time frame.
That is true. Still a very good film.
It's definitely worth watching. It's very artistic.
Mm-hmm.
For me, spoilers, I don't try to get wrapped up in spoilers, even if I know the end of a game. It doesn't bother me that much, or a TV show or a movie or whatever. It's kind of the journey that makes it worthwhile. So it's not the ending that's super important. It's kind of how they get there.
But if anybody ever spoils Game of Thrones for anybody, we will really ban you from this Discord.
Not the fake, like, say ban.
No, like, you're done.
Feel free to come in my Twitch channel and message me spoilers or whatever. I don't mind. But the other thing about it is I'm not on Reddits that have the information there. I don't look up the videos related to the games or whatever. I don't follow like Kotaku or there's no internet medium that could transmit me the spoilers. Like I use the internet to like talk to my friends basically and play games. So if I'm playing the game, then I'm not getting spoiled. And if my friends aren't dicks, I guess, then I don't get spoiled either.
Is this the time to pitch your brother's app?
No. He doesn't listen.
Bruce Willis was dead the entire time. Ping
No!
says...
Jesus Christ. Why? That was Harry Potter 7. Why did you ruin it?
Oh, Jesus. Hermione is actually McGonagall the entire time. She was using the time turner, went forward in time, became McGonagall, and then went back in time to teach herself.
I think you just wrote some fan fiction there.
Maybe.
Yeah, but also, like, she also aged herself using time turner.
Yeah, intentional.
Also, Time Turner just fixes all problems in the Harry Potter universe.
Seriously.
They should have had one, and the whole movie or book series is invalidated.
Anyway, we got to keep rolling. Ping says, what is on your Christmas list?
The time turner.
The time turner, clearly.
My Christmas list is currently empty, so message me your Christmas list, and I will steal it and send it to my wife, who will be very grateful.
Dan?
Oh, man. I really want to upgrade my computer, but I have been delaying because I don't actually need it. I just want it. So that's kind of in the forefront of my brain. But other than that, there's not really anything I need or want right now. I'm good. I'm content. But I'll get back to you.
I'm also pretty content, but I do need to upgrade my computer. So patreon.com/ we could use your money because I need a new computer. Not a whole computer, just some parts of the computer. Patreon.com/ HOTDROP.
Also, Ping, recently for a position at work, I was advertising a job. To come and work for me, an applicant started their personal statement off with, quote, "I'm known as the Swiss Army knife of the business world." And he further explains that by saying I have multiple uses. So Ping's question is, if you had to give yourself a cliche opening statement as good as that, what would it be and why?
I feel like that's a horrible opening statement.
It's pretty generic and, as he said, cliche.
Yeah.
Plus, that's not a knife. This is a knife.
I knew it was coming. Mine would be, I'm Dano, and you're not sure if I'm hacking, because I might be. That was awful. I'll work on that.
Mine would be...
The joke is that John thinks I'm hacking. But if you have to explain it, it's not a good opening statement.
I laugh.
Thanks, John. Appreciate that.
You're welcome.
I would say I'm a strong, independent man that don't need no job.
Mine would be Premier PUBG analysis and drops that are air fried for fewer calories.
Hey.
I'm not a copywriter. I just steal whatever Dan says.
That's fine. And finally, Ocean says, name 5 things on your bucket list. Oh my goodness, this is deep. For me, I think I can start this off right away. I've done a bunch of them this year, actually. Get married was one.
Cocaine,
copious amounts of cocaine, and PCP. Also, visiting Italy was on my bucket list. Did that for our honeymoon. The rest of the stuff that's really there is just so generic and like American dreamy. It's like own a house, own a car that I really like, get a dog. Like, I don't know. That's not really a bucket list thing, but it's all stuff that I just haven't had yet, and stuff that growing up in a really small town kind of thought I would have by now at my age.
Yeah.
But no, once I moved to a big city where houses are like $450,000 minimum for anything decent, it's not something that's attainable right now. So
those are kind of bucket listy, since those are goals that you want to accomplish before, like.
Yeah, like have kids is on there as well. You know.
Yeah. So those aren't like the most exciting bucket
No,
listy
not
things,
at all.
but that those are like the goals that you have in mind for sure.
Yeah. Skydiving was on there. Did that. So,
Yeah, that's probably on there for me. Although I'd be terrified.
It's scary. It's V scary, as the kids say.
Let's see, I could. Cody, do you have any?
I would never skydive. I would never bungee jump.
Never
Bungee
bungee
jump.
jump. Hell no.
I have no interest in like
Extreme.
extreme thrill sports, shit like that. I don't want it. Bucket list. I want to write a book.
Okay.
I want to learn how to play an instrument. I want to write a song.
I bet there are people at your work who would be relatively cheap that you could hire to teach you an instrument.
Correction. I want to teach myself how to play an instrument.
Well, okay. Well, good luck.
He already
You know
stated
how
he's
to
a
play.
strong, independent man. You don't need no instrument teacher.
Yep.
You're hired.
Yeah.
Yep. I don't need to be good at it. I played instruments when I was a kid. I just didn't play the fun ones.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to build a tiny home
Ooh.
Oh shit.
so that when I'm retired, Nikki and I can travel in the thing that I built. So like a trailer version, you know?
Nice.
That'd be cool.
And I want to plant a fruit orchard in my yard.
I know
wow.
a guy who can help you with that.
Is his name Lemon John?
No.
That's why they call me Lemon John.
No, but I have a friend who does what is it called? What's his...
Horticulture?
Well, he's getting a master's currently in landscape architecture, which is just basically how you design gardens for buildings. But he has like an apple orchard that he planted. He manages some county contracts to replace wetlands.
That's awesome.
It's amazing to go on hikes with him because he'll just grab stuff in the woods and just be like, "Here, eat this," and it's really fun. No, I always eat because he gets like fresh fruit that's tasty, or like it'll be bark that makes your mouth go numb or something.
Oh shit.
It's really interesting stuff. So yeah, he's a good guy to know.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
I have
That's
a fun fact.
that's a
real
good
quick,
list.
by the
You
way.
have
That is a
good
really
list.
good list. That was like a way better list than my list. 100%. 100%.
Well, I already have most of the things on your list.
That's true. That is very true. I'll have to think more on my bucket list. I've never really sat down and written it out, but anyway. John, what's on yours?
So I think mine is mostly travel related. It was something that I lacked as a kid. Well, at least I didn't go out of the country. So I'm trying to do more of those spots, and I love natural wonders things, which is relatively recent. When I went to the Grand Canyon, as I drove across the country to move out to LA, where I currently am, me and my mom stopped at the Grand Canyon, and it was just incredible. Like, the only word I can accurately describe it with is awesome, and it's completely valid in that circumstance. But yeah, it was just amazing to see. So I want to see more of those types of things. I want to see the Aurora Borealis.
Yeah, that's cool.
I want to go see the Great Wall of China. I want to travel to some different countries. I want to go to Japan. I want to go to Italy. I want to try like the good food everywhere, basically. Though it's super vague for the most part, but like any natural splendor, any travel, like cliche travel destinations, like I want to go check it out.
Nice. Yeah. Ever since we went to Italy, it's been like we need to travel more. That's the takeaway from the trip.
Yeah.
But when Cody was talking about his orchard, that made me really want an orchard. And I also have this fun
Copycat.
fact.
Yeah, what's the fun fact?
Because it also applies to the name Lemon John.
Yeah.
Lemons are actually not naturally occurring. Did you know that?
What do you mean they're not?
We created them. They were a hybrid between bitter orange and citron. That's my fun fact. Completely not related at all to what we're talking about.
You know, most of the fruit that we have has been spliced.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Well, that's pretty interesting.
Anyway, sorry to get off topic there. Fact. It's kind of fun.
Citron?
That's great.
Citron. Yeah. And that's your premier PUBG analysis.
and
some
facts.
CSGO analysis. We had some deep questions today. I don't know how we feel about this.
That was deep. That was like the majority of the show was just deep questions.
Dude, I like the deep questions. They're fun.
Once we get the snow map, we're going to be back in on that PUBG analysis. We're going to deep dive into strategies on that map. But for now, we're just chilling.
We're gonna make the hotline bling. I gotta let me one thing.
You have new bloopers.
This episode brought to you by Dan's negligence. It's not a laughing matter, people.
I don't have negligence.
You meant to say negligee.
Oh, negligee.
Negligee, sir. It's not a laughing matter. This episode brought to you by my innocence. Suck it, Dan!
Don't believe his lies.
Okay, what can my actual brought to you by me? Yeah, you'll figure it out.
I'll figure it out. Good.
I mean, you probably have figured it out already because...
Let's just re-record it all.
Yeah,
start over.
Start over.
Let's go.
Cody, you want to kick it off?
Fuck Dan!
Why am I getting so much hate today?
I don't know.
I'm not even doing anything.
You've been a very supportive friend of me. It's about time I told you that.
Why was I negligent? I need to know this.
Because you didn't test our levels.
Oh, I didn't need to do that. I'm just so good that I don't need to test.
Okay. What about that?
Oh,
okay,
God!
Well, I'm deleting that one.